On a recent Saturday, Jenny and Jeff Long watched their sons bolt from the starting line. The parents trot behind, squinting through the morning sunlight to see their boys, Connor Green, 9, and Caden Long, 7, through the crowd, until soon they become a speck in a sea of runners. In this moment, Jenny feels far from the library she visited after Caden's diagnosis. She remembers reading about all the things Caden would never do. They received the diagnosis, spastic cerebral palsy, 4 months after Caden was born. Jenny and Jeff, of White House, 10, knew nothing about cerebral palsy, a group of disorders involving the brain and nervous system. Cerebral palsy affects functions such as movement, learning, and thinking, but the severity of disability varies by person. It's like boarding a flight to Paris and landing in Texas without a map, as Jenny puts it. Sitting in the library reading about their baby's condition, Jenny and Jeff had no idea what his limitations would be. It was the unknown. We didn't know what cerebral palsy was. We didn't know what Caden's future had in store for him. We didn't know anything, Jenny says. It scared us, and we grieved for him for so long. We grieved this normalcy that we thought was expected. The loss of normalcy that Jenny and Jeff struggled with at first was something their older son, Connor, a toddler at the time, never felt. Caden was simply his brother. Can Caden do it too? At home, Connor is the only one of his brothers who speaks. Jenny and Jeff's youngest son, Cooper, who turns 3 in November, is nonverbal. Jenny describes how Connor is sometimes fascinated by talking toddlers in the grocery store. Most kids would look at someone like Caden and stare, Jenny says. But for Connor, normal is different. He stares at kids who speak. He's just not used to it, she says. There was no official sit-down, like, okay, this is what it is, this is how your brother is. He's different. I'm sure he developed his own way of knowing, but this is normal for him. I don't really want to make a big deal about how different his brothers are, so last year when Connor got the idea to do a triathlon, the then 8-year-old had no intention of doing it without Caden. Jenny had been flipping through a local parents magazine, Connor glancing over her shoulder, when they stopped on an ad for the Nashville Kids Triathlon. He started asking questions. What were the kids in the photo doing? Can I do that? Can Caden do it with me? It kind of came out of left field, Jenny says. I said, yeah, we can do it with Caden. Would you like to? Are you serious? He kind of caught me off guard a little bit, becoming Team Long brothers reluctant to say no. Jenny and Jeff reached out to the directors at the Nashville Kids Triathlon to find out if Connor and Caden doing the race together was a possibility. Everyone they spoke to was eager to help, Jenny says, and one organizer offered to set the boys up with a buddy partner, who could keep up with the boys during the race and help them transition legs. A triathlon is made up of 3 parts, swimming, cycling, and running. For each leg, Caden tags along. Connor pulls him in a raft for the swim portion and a tiny trailer for cycling, and he pushes him in a jogger stroller for the run. Completed their first triathlon on June 5, 2011. As Team Long brothers, Connor and Caden have gone on to complete 9 triathlons, along with a handful of smaller charity races, including a Halloween-themed 5K this year. In November, Connor and Caden were named Sports Illustrated Kids Sports Kid of the Year and were featured on the cover of the December issue of Sports Illustrated Kids. In October, the boys were honored as Heroes Among Us at the 2012 Giant Steps Awards banquet in Orlando, Florida. Every race is a win, but Connor doesn't worry about coming in first place. He prefers Caden's big smile to a first, second, or third place medal. Connor is definitely older than what he should be as far as his maturity level and emotions, and the way he handles things, and his brothers. I'm very proud of him, Jenny says. It's my kids that inspire me. Caden can't talk or walk, but with Connor's help he can experience something most kids don't, crossing the finish line. Racing together has bonded the boys, and brought the family together in a way Jenny could never have imagined sitting in that library 7 years ago. We are in a different part of our lives in that we are so blessed. The boys have met so many people, we've met so many people. Sitting in the library, it felt like doomsday. I felt so alone. If only I'd known I was not going to be alone. We were not going to be alone, Jenny says. There are other families overcoming challenges. We've overcome, and Connor has overcome, the challenge of bonding with Caden. We've overcome the challenges, and we wouldn't trade Caden's diagnosis for anything.